Well, you probably recognize the name Carrie Madej. Her appearance on our show last September has collected more than 3 million views on Rumble alone. It was included in our Best of 2021 show at the end of last year. Dr. Madej has been a crusader for the truth about the Pfizer and Moderna jabs and the real impact that they're having on the people receiving them. Well, right now, Dr. Madej and her boyfriend are both in intensive care after crashing in a small engine plane. Now, small planes can be dangerous, of course. But this isn't the first time that a promoter of holistic medicine has died or nearly died in unexpected or mysterious circumstances. Erin Elizabeth has covered many of those cases in the last half decade during her work on TV. She's also a friend and colleague of Dr. Madej, and she joins us now. Erin, thank you so much for coming. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Stu. Honored to be here as always.
So, are you willing to say or opining that this is potentially a mysterious plane crash, or was this just simply an engine failure?
Um, I grew up in a family of pilots. My father actually passed having a heart attack while flying. But from what I have learned so far, there is a distinct possibility that the plane could have been tampered. I think it was a Piper, a single engine, that it could have been tampered with. But I think it's too soon to say.
Have you spoken with Carrie?
I have not. Nope. I have talked with many of our close mutual friends, and I just saw they did an update recently because a lot has been out there about their sustained injuries, and they just said on the site that they're not going to go into detail about that on the website. I saw that moments before, but I think it's been out there, and they even said I have not published an article on it, but articles have been published going into details on the actual injuries. But I think it's just safe to say that those sustained injuries, that she and Billy will be okay, although it looks like they'll have a road ahead of them of recovery.
Do you know the
From the
details about this trip? I heard that it was a two-leg trip, and that this crash happened on the second leg. Is that right?
Yes, they were returning from, so they were coming back from here in Florida. I'm in Florida, and not they were not with us or anything, but they were then flying back, and in Warm Springs, Georgia, when something strange happened with the plane and it descended. They had only very few moments to make a decision on what they were going to do. So yeah, and I mean that's been published out there, and so I will just say that it was miraculous that I think that they survived, were able to land the plane considering what happened, and were able to survive. I think it could have gone either way. So we're very grateful that they're both with us, and praying, of course, that they'll recover quickly.
Of course, first of all, when you hear something like this, we get a lot of information here at the program that's just bunk. It's terrible. It's garbage. It's a distraction. It's fake news. So obviously, when we heard about this happening, we looked into it immediately and then obviously confirmed that it was true. That's when I posted it on my Telegram channel. The thing has amassed nearly 100,000 different shares because everybody is extremely worried about Dr. Madej and, holistic doctors and dissident doctors in general. We had Dr. Zev Zelenko on this program to expose that he and Dr. Brian Ardis were both on hit lists manufactured by Pfizer. So this is nothing new for you, is it?
And no, yeah, it's no surprise. And I should say that I'm finding out the updates on Dr. Carey from close friends, but I'm reluctant after their update that they're not wanting to go into detail yet. And I understand that, but no, it's not. I started reporting in June. So June, gosh, it is June now. So 2015, which is now, I think, 7 years ago, this month, and on the death of Dr. Bradstreet was the first in my series. I've also interviewed his immediate family, and then it just went from there. So many of our colleagues, like Dr. Bradstreet, and our friends, even our neighbors here in Florida. I think there were 3 fathers on Father's Day weekend 2015. Dr. Bradstreet was one of those. I think 2 out of 3 were in Florida. He was the one who had used to practice down here, and he was in Georgia, and that died under mysterious circumstances. And then it just snowballed. And we have over 100 in the series since June 2015, with Dr. Bradstreet being the first in that series. But really, it was a toss-up since we had 3 fathers dead Father's Day weekend, all 3 holistic doctors, all mysterious circumstances. And Dr. Bradstreet was, well, they said at first that somehow he was able to hold this gun which he couldn't have done, to shoot himself in the middle of a raging river after he couldn't get into the hotel room because it wasn't quite ready. So it's just, I mean, and I've done a couple of TV shows, including Discovery, with the forensic scientist, PhD from Yale, who explained that is completely impossible that he was able to take his own life. But these small towns, they'll rule him, no offense to local sheriffs, but very strangely, they'll rule them as alleged suicide or suicide within 24 hours when it's physically, scientifically impossible. Very strange. So, and we've had other a couple plane crashes in the series of 100 as well.
Well, there's unconfirmed reports that President Trump was recently involved in some sort of an emergency landing on board his private plane. There's been other recent private plane, incidents, I guess that you could say. One involving Lynn Wood, who didn't get on the plane or the plane had issues shortly thereafter. I don't remember exactly the details about that particular incident, but people who speak out against Big Pharma, people who speak out against the globalist cabal and this criminal enterprise that is our government are often targets of this type of an assassination attempt. And so it's not unreasonable to suspect that there were mysterious or suspicious circumstances surrounding, this Piper aircraft and Dr. Carrie Madej. Now, she was in the hospital and underwent surgery. We understand that her condition is slowly improving and that she was moved from critical to, I think, stable condition or serious condition at this point. Do you know about the extent of or the exact nature of her injuries?
I have, yes, some of those have been, I have discussed with our close mutual friends, other doctors, and only because moments before, but we've already seen that it's been published about injuries, especially with her leg, I think the foot, and possible spinal, spinal fractures. So, but I have, I understand that they are concerned for whatever reason on the latest update I saw with going into real specific details. But I do know that she underwent some surgeries and she is out of critical. And I feel having had injuries in the past, and it's and never that severe. It's I know it's going to be a road to recovery, and probably I would not a medical doctor, but would imagine more surgeries and a lot of rehab for her to and her significant other who was flying for them to heal. We just hope and pray that they do. But it's really tragic, and we're just glad they're alive. I didn't know until this past weekend. Several friends contacted me, including one good friend in Georgia. They'd always been telling me about Dr. Carrie, and she and I have done a number of events together, but I never understood that it was the same Carrie Madej until this. And it just clicked when a friend texted me, and she said, and we've met and we're friends, and she said, gosh, it was Dr. Carrie who told me about you. She had allegedly shut her practice or was nervous about the holistic doctor deaths. And this is before Carrie and I had done events together. And I said, I had no idea it was the same one. It all made sense. Oh, that was the one in Georgia. That's Dr. Carrie. That I never put two and two together. So, you get so busy in this world. And so, I think she was very well aware of the series that I wrote. And, it's just, I'm so glad she's not in the series, and that she's going to survive this, and that they will heal. But but it's really frightening when you see things like this happen.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Especially if you just had one, some people will say, well, maybe that could be explained. Maybe it was engine trouble. Maybe it was this. But then when you have so many, and even there are several in the series where you had 2 in a day or 3 in a weekend, or, in 48 hours, and so many, that it's a small community. We knew so many of these doctors that were either, like I said, our neighbors, colleagues, or friends. And it's just, so with the deaths, it's really tough. And the family members still are asking for answers all these years later that they're not getting.
I don't think that the enemy really understands that you can take us out, but that's only going to amplify our voice. And I don't think that they understand that God wins. I called Carrie on her cell phone, obviously, while trying to vet this information, not knowing the seriousness of her injuries, not knowing even if it was true at that point that she had been involved with a plane crash. I did get her voicemail, and I left her a message just letting her know. As for the Peters family, we're praying for her. And so right now, I want to ask the whole Stu crew, the whole Stu Peters Show tribe, to please keep Dr. Carrie Madej and her boyfriend in your prayers and lift them up. We're thanking God right now that he spared them and is allowing them to be here to continue so that Dr. Carrie Madej can continue to expose the evil agenda that is behind these shots and everything else that the medical industrial complex is unrolling on us. Erin Elizabeth, for your work, we thank you so much, and thank you for your time today. We appreciate it. God bless you.
Thank you. You too. Thanks.
Of course, anytime. Make sure that you check out Erin Elizabeth's work, by the way, at healthnutnews.com. All right, Stu Crew, pay attention. We need you to have a strong and dominant brain all day long. From the moment that you wake up in the morning, be ready to process and make sense out of the information that you're receiving. You need a dominant brain. Well, we can help you with this. Go to Newtopia.com/Stu Peters and check out these brain supplements from Newtopia. Newtopia.com/Stu Peters. The products there are 100% safe, 100% not addictive, 100% legal, but you would think that they should be illegal. I mean, for crying out loud, the focus and clarity and drive and aggression and things that can all be channeled, your brain firing on all cylinders from the minute that you wake up. No extended snooze button hitting times, no shot of caffeine required, no cup of coffee required before you're ready to process information and do it with clarity. In the gym, need some added aggression? Boom, on demand, no problem. Tired of alcohol and the hangovers? Replace it with the brain supplements from Newtopia. Yes, Gabalicious, great one for the evening time, puts you in that euphoric state of, I don't know, it's just awesome. You have to try it for yourself. Newtopia.com/Stu Peters. Again, Newtopia.com/Stu Peters.
Uncle Sam says you're a terrorist if you know vaccines are dangerous, but the real Osama bin boosted are getting sick, and Fauci can't hide it. One man has had enough of the madness. There's a sheriff coming after the shot shills.
I'm going after them individually. Every single one of them individually. I'm coming after you. Every one of them I am.
Christopher Key has founded Vaccine Police, and he will arrest tyranny.
Then they can be hung up and they can be executed. So this stops. It stops here, guys. Let's go in.
Vaccine mandates for kids? No. Mask mandates for little Mikey? Heck no. School boards have been put on notice.
No man is evil, and I know man is all about money and power.
It's open season on treason. Vaccine Police are on patrol. Old Bill Clodshill, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when Vaccine Police come for you? Resist. Go to vaccine-police.com. Forget the woo flu. Back the blue. Vaccine-police.com.